Hey guys, I'm sure that you heard that Nikon just announced their Z6 and Z7 camera that are direct competitors with the Sony a7 III and the Sony a7R III. And I'm going to give you 4 reasons why I personally am not going to switch over to Nikon anytime soon. Okay, the main reason that I'm not switching to these new Nikon cameras, and I think if you are a professional videographer or photographer or are looking to get into that space, the lack of double card slots is a deal breaker, basically. I typically do a lot of interviews with business owners or CEOs and stuff like that, and you know, if you have a card fail, you can ask them to do it again, and it may be uncomfortable, and it's going to waste your time having to do it again as well as their time. And yeah, it's just an odd thing if your card does fail. But if you are a wedding videographer or photographer, you cannot do it again. I mean, it's irreplaceable. Being able to have a double card slot where you can have an instant copy of what you're taking a video of or photographing instantly in camera as a backup is huge. And if you want to double the capacity of the footage that you can take or the photos, you can just put in another card and use the relay function so that when one card is full, it just instantly goes to the second card. And obviously you can't do that with one card slot. So I think that the fact that both cameras only have one SD card slot is a deal breaker. But I do have 3 other reasons why I'm also not considering switching. Okay, so the lack of lenses is pretty huge as far as the native lenses to the two Nikon cameras. There's only going to be 3 native lenses at launch. Of course, they're going to have a plethora of lenses over the next 2 or 3 years that are releasing for that camera mount. But right now, it's going to have 3. Sony has 20, and those cameras are going to be awesome. But the fact is that once you get that camera, you're only going to have a limited number of lenses that you can use. It is going to have an adapter that you can use your old Nikon lenses, but if you're new to shooting and new to Nikon, if you want the latest and greatest lens for your latest and greatest Nikon, you're only going to have 3 choices. And yeah, so that's another reason why I'm sticking with Sony. So the third reason why I'm staying with Sony is the eye autofocus for when you're taking photos. And most of my work is videos, but I do take portraits and you know, both indoors and outdoors. And the ability to lock in on someone's eye is huge. A lot of the times, if you just depend on whatever camera system you're using, if you depend solely on face detection, a lot of the time it'll look like it's in focus, like their face is in focus, but as soon as you blow up that photo and you put it on a bigger screen, you'll realize that the face is kind of in focus, or it's in focus, but the eyes, the focus is soft, and that's because it just didn't catch. With the eye autofocus on the camera like this, the Sony a7R III, it has eye autofocus. And the great thing about that is once you lock in on that, your hit rate for having the whole face in focus is a lot higher. I would say with face detection, with only face detection, my hit rate of a fully focused face was probably about 50 to 60%. With the eye autofocus, it's somewhere between 80 and 90. It's just super accurate and it's super fast. And really, if you have that option, there's no reason not to use it. Okay, last but not least is something that the Nikon cameras are lacking, and the Sony cameras are lacking as well, and that's 4K 60. The Nikon cameras shoot 4K 10-bit 422, and the Sony cameras only shoot 4K 8-bit. And you know what, for me, that's fine for now. The 4K 10-bit 422 allows you more room to color grade and post. And I think those options are going to be available in the upcoming Sony a7S III that I think is being announced next month. But until then, there's not a lot of reasons to go to Nikon if you already have something like a Sony a7 III, the Sony a7R III, which I think, in my opinion, is the best overall camera if you want great video and really high-res photos. That's just my opinion, but I think the Sony a7S III is going to be obviously a great video camera, and I think the Nikon, it's a great entry into the mirrorless market, but I think if you're already a Sony shooter, there's really no reason to go to Nikon at this point. I know Canon has their mirrorless cameras coming out, and again, Sony is going to have their monster Sony a7S III come out soon. So I'm waiting for that. Let me know what your thoughts are. Are you moving to Nikon from Sony, from Canon, or are you going to stick with Sony and maybe wait out until the a7S III comes out for video? Leave a comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'm going to New York in 2 weeks. Hopefully I can get my hands on the Z6 and Z7 at B&H Photo. And I'll take some footage of that, let you know how it feels in the hand. And until next time, see ya!